a very nice stream title for you today. I hope you enjoy. Hi, everybody. Dangan on my Ronpa till I another her two. Alright, gaming time. So I have so much work to do, so streams are gonna have to stop soon, or like be shorter, because I have so much fucking work I need to do. But I'm still gonna try to stream every day. That's my hope. Speaking of hope, I'm gonna turn this fan off since it's right in front of my fucking thing, and I have the AC anyway. The fan was just because I was extremely hot last night. I'm extremely hot all the time, though. Anyway, welcome back to the video game. Speaking of hope. I'm gonna take my shoes off. So I can sit crisscross applesauce in my chair. We're in the middle of the third trial. Wait, Nicky, did you say that we thoroughly searched every body part? Yeah, it was hard for my eyes to do it, but what you just said reminded me. It seemed like every part was laid on the altar, but the abdomen was missing, right, Shiobai? What are you asking me for? But the girl's right. The body missing from the hip. The body's missing from the hip up to the part below the chest. It was also written in the monochrome file. The area around the stomach was missing. So the fact that they deliberately got rid of that part, there must be some clue on the abdomen area. Maybe they stabbed her there. They tried to hide the cause of death. But why? I doubt there was a reason important enough for them to hide that. There was, actually. You might not know this, but the stabbing mark on a body is different depending on the hand that you use. Yeah, you would know a lot about stabbing people, bitch. I ain't forgive you for that shit, bitch. They say that only 10% of all people are left-handed. The majority are right-handed, and I reckon this might be the likely situation among us as well. Now, what if the mark indicated that a left-handed person indicated the missing abdomen? Kanade, what hand do you usually use? My left hand? You thought all of that just because of the missing abdomen? There's one thing I'd like to have Seal by. How do you know that Kanade is You did suspect her based on the fact that the culprit is left-handed. The girl did some performance thing on the second island, right? In front of the shrine. The guitar she used was left-handed. Were you just pretending you weren't interested enough? Don't make me laugh. You might be under the impression that you finally solved the case with your incredible intellect, but if we're talking about lefties, there are plenty of people here that are left-handed besides me. Like Aroha. You always grip your pen with your left hand, right? How could anyone? And Sealby, you still haven't solved the contradiction of the gate records. You need to move the body from the pool and ghost house in Block A. Even with an inclusion of accomplice in a crime, that is still impossible. I'm so sorry, Missy. That ain't quite the case. What? What? Did you really think I'd suspect you just from the stabbing marks? This is just a conviction. It's not like the abdomen was actually found and I had material proof of the stab wounds. I just tried to come up with a reason why the culprit had to go through the hassle of getting rid of that part. What do you think was the actual reason the contradiction in both the ghost house and the pool in the first place? A live person must use their handbook in order to go through the gate, but since that's like only the in records will get recorded. So when we ruled the places without any suspicious out records, only the pool and the ghost house were left. Only a virtual ID gets saved on the gate records, right? You assume the ID was Setsuga's just because it had no out records. Put it simply, all the gate records of the attractions can be manipulated. The gates... That's why you took our handbook! You said anything about using your own handbooks. Monaco never once mentioned you have to use your own handbook. He simply stated that you need to use a handbook. You can use a handbook of another person to go through the gates. Don't lie to us! How does that make any sense? Well, it does. I tried it. Well, back when we first arrived on the third island... Yeah. So the reason you took Aroha's handbook was to try to figure that out. Yeah. Everyone, do you know what this means? It means our basis of the gate records were wrong from the start. Even if what Siobai said was true, it becomes harder or even impossible to identify. Oh! So, like, if you have more... I get it. So if you have more than one handbook. If you have more than one handbook on your person, you can scan one and then go through. You can scan both and then go through, but then only scan one and go out. If you assume that the gate records were rigged and reverse the thinking process, the case starts to unfold. My theory is this: Setsuga Shikabukuro died in the pool, and the time of death was probably around this morning. Give me the records again, and I'll go over them one by one with you. Setsuga Shikabukuro went somewhere in the culprit's quest, and out of the pool. Got that? If you look at the pool gate records, Setsuga's ID is probably IS. He went in at 8:45. DJ, or should I say Mr. Transgender? Miss Kanade over there entered 1 minute ahead of her, but that would mean that Miss Little Sis left at 9:22, only 40 minutes to spare. And that's where the accomplice comes into play. I called out the twin sis as the accomplice, eh? 9:22 is exactly when she entered the pool, using the handbook of her little sis. What's going on right now? I didn't quite understand. Kanade had her sis who was waiting outside. The gates only check if a human being passes through them, so objects do not matter. The little shit was shown the course by the slightly littler shit. And just as we're told, she receives a mental shock and loses her sanity, becoming the best clown tool ever, an accomplice that loses her memory. After that, the littler shit left the swimming pool at 9:54, setting up the pool sign so that no one would enter. She would have already died at that point. Now it's confirmed that you can use a handbook belonging to another. That would have been Hibiki using Setsuga's handbook. The little shit came back at 12:54, carrying the tools needed to dismember the corpse. She used her own handbook to get in this time. After spending 5 hours cutting the body up, they both left at 1924 and 1925 with the body pieces. They probably got rid of the sign. The little shit throws the sign over the gate, and the littler shit puts the sign back in the swimming pool and leaves at 7:25. But then why was it an in record and not an out record? Here, they can use their own handbooks this time. Now, what do you think will be the end result of this gate records if we follow these steps? Hibiki used Kanade's handbook when entering the pool, and since Kanade's ID already had an in record, so the ID is still tied to the handbook. It would show an out. So So, here, let me grab 2 mints. Here, let me grab a mint. So this mint, so Kanade's on this side, and so Kanade and Hibiki are both here. Kanade takes the mint, goes through, then throws the mint. I don't have judgment in my mint throwing skills to throw it. To Hibiki on the other side, who then goes through. But because it's still Kanade's handbook, it shows an out record. Okay. So when Hibiki left through the gates, the resulting output would be an in record. And then when Hibiki leaves, it's another in. So the handbook went in, out, in, no, wait. Yeah, in, scan in, throw out, scan in, but it actually registers as out, scan out. Those two would be from Kanade and Setsuka separately. And the out at 9:22 was Hibiki using Kanade's handbook to enter the pool. The out at 9:54 was Kanade using Setsuka's handbook to leave. Oh, and then she entered with her own handbook with the tools at 12:54. Here, even though Hibiki was already inside the pool, this was the first time she used her handbook, which resulted in an in output. Why didn't she just hand it back over and list the ID without an out record, and you was not Setsuka but actually Hibiki? It's getting a bit complicated. Sora's explanation was simple enough. Thanks, girlfriend. Well, she is an idiot after all. Wait, I get your statement that the culprit used the time between 12:54 and 17:24 to dismember the body, but it took 3 hours for the culprit to return from the pool at 9:54. And do you think it'd take 3 hours for me, the culprit, just to find the dismemberment tools? Who cares? The signpost would have kept anyone out of the pool anyway. You had loads of time to spare. You said you saw Hibiki enter the ghost house a bit before 1800, so that must have been at 1755 when they arrived at the swimming pool. It must have been then that the twins moved the corpse to the ghost house. After all, the body was actually found there. But how? I told you this before. How would you move from block C to A without getting caught? The monorail? Duh. And how the murder could have happened in the pool. Even if she doesn't know how the body was moved, right? The corpse had a head, both arms, 10 pieces all together, a bat, the black bat, the plastic bags! The first ever record of something ended in the ghost house was 1755. Since we have Rojo as a witness, but still the culprit left the pool at 1755, leaving only 30 minutes to move the body to the ghost house. So each carries a total of 5 pieces. Maybe they have sort of bag that carried the corpse inside. A corpse bag. And what if somebody finds you? How are you going to explain it to them? What if they open the bag or something? Forget the time constraints. You need to stealthily move the body without getting caught. I thought of an incredible solution. The monorail. We have the monorail that goes around each department. If they use that, it would take about 5 minutes to get from department to department, and as a plus, you wouldn't be seen as well. Sure, you can use the monorail without being seen, but was it really possible for the culprit to use the monorails? Was it on one of the off hours? 1755 is... $17.55 is 12, 13 is 1, 14 is 2, 15 is 3, 16 is 4, 17 is 5 p.m. And it only runs on even hours. Nikki, I'm afraid that's impossible. By the theory we're going with, the culprit must have moved the course between 7:55. If you think monorail timetables, you see that the monorails weren't active during that time. They're only active every other hour. I was at Satsuki Land early from the 18 o'clock parade. Monorail. Yeah, that's right. Newsy, you said it. She used the monorails. Shut up and listen. First, she leaves the pool at 7:25 and moves the pieces to the Black Sea monorail station. That shouldn't take long, right? She was moving within the same department. Then she leaves the corpse there and uses Setsuka's handbook to call out Airhead Girl to the Mirror Mansion. I think he's probably gonna survive, right? Shoba's probably gonna survive. My hope is that Yoriko survives too. Call Airhead Girl to the Mirror Mansion. Then the older sis moves to the ghost house at Block A to deliberately be seen entering the ghost house by the Bobblehead Girl. He did that to accuse Hibiki. Then we actually did so in the beginning of trial based on Aroha's account. Wait, why do y'all think of me when you heard Bubbleheaded Girl? Mikaido, why don't you pick on someone your own size you worth the suit? Wow! Yoriko said, you should go kill yourself now. Would you shut up for 1 second? I'm trying to focus. First 17:55, the older sis enters the ghost house to cut the fuse and put out the fire to make the ghost house stop. Next she has to hurry because there's another gate record only 2 minutes before she entered. She used Setsuka's handbook when she entered, and she used her own when leaving. This way, to in the output gets recorded, and she leaves no sign that she ever left the place. You all saw the parade together at 1800, right? The littler shit goes to see that, while the little shit goes to the Block A monorail station. The monorail will stop moving at 8 o'clock, so she rides it from Block A to C, and carries the body parts back to Block A through the monorail. This way, you'll be able to solve both the time and stealth issue. And so, what next? There's not much left after this. Had the body parts somewhere near the ghost house. After confirming that the white hair over there left in 1936, go to the ghost house with the body. He used Setsuko Shikiburo's handbook at the gate. The resulting output would be the out record. Exactly, everything left is simple. Set up the corpse on the outer and create a pool of blood using the blood pack. The newly reformed ghost house, now with an actual corpse. Now the ghost house record at this point can be summed up to this. Hibiki in, Setsuka in, Setsuka out, but was actually Hibiki in. Hibiki in. Okay. How is it? The result of this case, Kanade is the culprit and Hibiki as the evidence. It's hard to trust him, but it's logically sound and his reasoning is perfect. Are you really the culprit? Did you really murder Suka and I helped you without any knowledge of that? Sis, don't cry. That beauty hag is just talking nonsense. Rebuttal, are you really thinking to yourself that you really cracked this case? Let's get straight to the point. You're completely wrong, full of contradictions again. And to marvel at the stupid of a theory. My, you all have questionable brains, don't you? I like all of Kanade's sprites. They're funny. As much as this theory has holes like Swiss cheese, the main problem are two big contradictions. Siobai, you told us that after leaving the pool, we left the body at the station and used the monorail to move over to the ghost house. And whose handbook did we use? Setsuka's. And you think that's possible? Everyone, you might be able to pass through the gates using someone, but only handbooks that are active. Ah, shit, you're right. I made a mistake. Only Setsuka herself can turn it on. That was possible because the culprit left the corpse at the station. According to this, just cut off the finger and take it with him. Even if you use Setsuka's hand to turn off the handbook before you leave, it'll be turned off by the time you reach the ghost house. The touchscreen lock of the handbook sleep mode requires the owner's fingerprints. Why didn't the culprit just use the method Yuki mentioned? Impossible. Setsuka's wrists were cut off. Her fingers were all fine. I mean, you could just carry those hands. That's probably not it. Then they'd have the problem of how to carry the body. Even if hands are small, they still have considerable size, and you're doomed if they bleed. There's too much risk to that hand. Maybe they managed to luckily carry the body without getting caught. Really? Then let's assume that the culprit somehow solved this issue, and let's go over the next problem. Well, actually, we have a much bigger problem here. Shiobai said the culprit hid the body parts near the ghost house to wait for Sora to leave the place. And I ask you, where is that place is? How in the world can you find that place to hide 10 body parts? If there were a pile of body parts near the ghost house, anyone would have noticed it. It would seem unnatural if you had it all inside a bag, but if you hide them separately, it would take time for the culprit to gather all the pieces. You're not going to say that the culprit managed this through luck as well. Well, if you are, we have a trusty Sora. She searched every nook and cranny near the ghost house, right? No, wait, maybe it's not the ghost house. We searched every other place as well. We searched everywhere in Block A, so there's no other... Dude, who do you think I'm suspecting here? Are you saying that you, who I suspect as the culprit, searched Block A? She just has to hide the body part in the place she searched in. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying that the body part was hidden at the complete opposite side of the park of the ghost house. The place I investigated was that area, the storehouse and beyond. That's a bit too far away from the ghost house, don't you think? What about that? Is there a problem with it being too far? We can't move the body part around when everyone's running around. The culprit must have moved the body parts at least after Sora left the ghost house. According to the gate records, the culprit entered the body part... If you had the body parts too far away, you wouldn't be able to retrieve them within the next 6 minutes. Sora even said she looked outside the ghost house, so she would have had to save 1 to 2 minutes after that. So we would have only had 4 to 5 minutes. If you want to move all 10 corpse pieces within that time limit, you would have hit it close to the ghost house. Wait, they're both in it together, so if they move them together... I told you, it's impossible even for 2 people. They'd have to make 2 round trips, even if there was an accomplice. Even in the case we hid it in the nearest storehouse, it's impossible to make 2 round trips within 4 minutes, unless you have teleportation skills, that is. Shiobai, is there another way? See, they're ignoring you because you made such an idiotic comment. Be quiet in the peanut gallery over there. Was Shiobai's theory wrong? Kanade definitely has a point there. What kind of method did the culprit actually use? Luckily, we get spoon-fed the right answer. They hid him in the fuse box, didn't they? They hid the body in the fuse box. It's no use trying to think of another way. It's impossible to move the corpse It's impossible to move the corpse that fast. Then I guess Shiobai's theory was wrong. Wait, that means the culprit actually managed to move the body without using the monorails. The only method to do so is to hope for the best and not get caught. I guess that's the only solution we have now. But the gate records were rigged, right? In that case, the culprit stayed inside for 2 minutes between 1755 and 1757. So they hid the body and cut the fuse during that time. There's a 100 score. Okay, I'm afraid that would be impossible. Why? I get you have barely enough time, but if you move at full speed, 10 minutes is far from enough when you're trying to hide 10 body pieces, and most importantly, the ghost house fuse box is the problem. They had to visit the innermost part of the fuse box. The fuse box is located just inside the enter, and the altar is in the innermost. Just going to and fro would take up time. Maybe there's a secret passage? They could have hidden the body there. Please can someone knock sense into him? There's no way that kind of passage exists. The most crucial thing is that if the culprit carried the body to the ghost house, the person who saw that should have noticed it. So how is it, Aroha? Did my sister enter holding something in her hands or not? You seem to be not very fond of that head, of the fact that you have that head attached. Would it kill you to please pay attention? You told us that you saw my sis entering the ghost house. She was empty-handed. If she was holding a piece of the corpse, I would have recognized it. See, so that means we just transported it. There are too many contradictions to suspect my sister as the culprit. That doesn't mean you yourself admit that your first theory was wrong. Now that it's come to this, who do you think is the actual culprit? Honestly, I also need to think through this again. I was so focused on proving my innocence that I haven't come up with another theory. Any other theory you'd like to provide for us? Wait a sec, I need to clear my thoughts. I missed something big. Our 2 brains are sunk. Please give it your all. We're counting on you. This case is honestly so complex that even I cannot get a good grasp on it. Oh no, we're doomed. We need Kokoro. She would have caused... Well, doing our best, but... I'm tired. I want to go home. Please, would somebody clog your mouth or something? We've been through 2 class trials. Of course we're difficult and we're stumped a couple of times, but this is the first time our reasoning came to a stump completely. The culprit of this case. Who is it? And how did they kill Setsuka? Even Kanade is the smartest of us all. Is having trouble coming up with a solution. A person with no special brains or talent like me. So you have no talent. I got it. So that was it. Everyone, I know the culprit now. I need to thank Shiobai for this. Without him, I never would have believed that my sister wasn't the culprit, nor would ever I realize that the gate records had been rigged and my sister was used. So you admit to the fact that my sister was an accomplice. She was literally used by the real culprit, the whole thing. This case was performed by a single person. Let me spell out the clues for you. First, as Shiobai said, they were left-handed, and they provided us with a false testimony so that my full sis, and they had an alibi in the parade so they could move around the monorail. You showed up after the parade. The person who fits all the criteria is Iroha. It's up to you. Hurry for Kanade. She's easily tried to get the culprit. What? The only person who matches the criteria that Kanade mentions is you, Iroha. Why am I the culprit? Why this all of a sudden? Then let me explain step by step. Should you show me the pool gate records once more? Like Shiobai said, it sounds like I died in the pool in the morning specifically. Iroha called Setsuka to the pool, so Setsuka enters at 12:34 and Iroha enters at 8:45. Wait, I never entered the pool. Shut up, you murderer. You used my sister to murder Setsuka and blame the whole murder on me. Now you're gonna pay. I don't buy this. Then she killed Setsuka on the spot and left at 9:22 to set up the signpost and go to gather jewels. So that wasn't Hibiki entering, but Iroha leaving, using Setsuka's handbook. Then Setsuka's ID would show an output. Then she returned to the pool at 9:54 using her own handbook. She finishes preparing the body for 12:54, and she leaves it using Iroha's handbook. Iroha will leave the pool, but an in-output would be saved according to the records. The corpse was cut up between 12:53 and 17:54, and now you're suggesting that it was done between 9:54 and 12:54. 3 hours should be just enough time to do the job, and you solve it why it took 3 hours to bring this dismemberment tools. Iroha kept all the corpse pieces in 12:54. At 17:54, she uses the in herself to bring the corpse pieces out. Then 1 minute later, 17:25, I don't buy this. She uses Setsuka's handbook to leave the pool. We can now perfectly explain the gate records by this logic. No, because Iroha's missing an out record. Unless you mean she used her... Setsuka out. Oh, never mind. No, I get it. I see. So it's possible to rig the I guess it would have been possible for the culprit to create an out record to avoid any suspicion from the pool, but both mine and Shiobai's theory has limitations. I guess there was reason for the culprit to do so. I'm not done with my theory. Now the next part. Iroha, who successfully finished her job, moved the pieces of the Block C monorail station and runs to Block A. Now the important part. After she arrives at Block A, she needs to enter at 1755. Here, it doesn't really matter whether she uses her handbook or Setsuka's, but it was probably better to use her own. I'll explain this a bit later. As said before, she goes inside to cut the wires of the ghost house box and she uses Setsuka's handbook to leave. Wait, what the hell are you on about? That's exactly what you said was impossible. Setsuka's hand is at the monorail station. How are you going to turn her handbook on? The theory you're trying to propose just substituted the culprit for Ryu the Bubblehead. With everything else, you're basically just saying the same stuff. Didn't you yourself say that impossible? It would be impossible for Sis, but definitely possible for Iroha. Iroha actually has a pretty handy tool. Her hat! We have no ideal space to carry the hands. The pockets are too small to shove the hands in, and if we try to hide it within our clothes, it would stick out and seem unnatural. You need to be seen and also be able to pull it out whenever needed. This is the case where every minute and second matters. The hand must have been readily available for whatever the situation called for it. And you're suggesting that the hiding place was the hat. If you put it on top of your head and would hold it in place, it wouldn't seem unnatural. You can pull it out whenever you wanted to turn the handbook on, so it matches. So basically, she puts the hands on top of her head. Why would I do such a horrible thing? And the one who entered the ghost house was the Viki, not me. That's exactly why I'm suspecting you. If you perhaps lied about seeing my sister, then you have no alibi. I'm not the one. I don't know, I can't remember. Shiobai, is there anything left bothering you? I'll take that as a no. Then let's continue. Iroha causes a blackout of the ghost house and then moves to blocking a monorail station. When it resumes its operation, she rides it back to Block C to move the port. This part is the same as Shiobai's theory. Iroha must have hit the body parts near the ghost house. Maybe in one of the bushes there. Wait, then we're stuck in the same place as before. You guys searched Block A. Yes, that's why I'm suspecting Iroha. It was Iroha who investigated the park area. All the culprit has to do is hide the corpse in a place they were supposed to investigate. Well, I was unable to do so because I investigated the place further away. But the park Iroha investigated was right across from the ghost house. In terms of distance, she had no problems. Exactly what part am I not making sense to you? But it was you who told me to investigate the park area. How did I know to know beforehand before you assigned me that place? That was my bad, but I had no idea you were the perfect culprit back then. Even if I told you to investigate some other place, wouldn't you have volunteered to investigate the park? Anyway, Sora investigated near the ghost house, and the only option left for you was the park. That's probably why you chose that place. It was a pretty smart act considering it was coming from Iroha. You deserve praise. After that, well, you all know the drill, right? She had the... Apart from the ghost house once Sora leaves this place. Then about 1942, this is literally 1984, she used the ghost house gate. She uses her own handbook to enter the ghost house. That way she'd be able to create an ID without an out record. Also, from here on out, speed is key. It'd be difficult to use Setsuka's handbook, so she would use her own handbook for her own convenience. That's why I told you that she would have to use her own handbook first. After entering, she prepares the final step for her plan. She puts the body parts in the altar, uses the blood pack to create a bloody mess. After the body announcement, she pretends that she entered the place, and voila! Of course, proving the false alibi to false evidence, she did it all by herself. The hairpin. How do you explain the hairpin? You obviously just stole them beforehand. Sister was clearly not herself after the motive revealed yesterday night. Even a toddler would have been able to take it from her. When did I have the chance? You were the one who told us that. That was still this morning. I have no idea where she was afterwards. I only met her again after we found the corpse. Or do you have any proof that you didn't meet my sister in that time? Why is that, I wonder? But that's because I was the only one who didn't receive the message. You told me later that you received a real message, right? Yuriko was heading towards the ghost house because of that message. The message was sent by the culprit as well, right? All messages from Setsuka today were sent by the culprit. That's all the more reason the culprit needed to carry out Setsuka's hand at times. As I said before, the only person easily capable of transporting Setsuka's hand is Iroha. Shiobai, I'd like to know your thoughts on this. a theory herself knows no contradictions, but the fact that the bubblehead girl thought it would take of a trick this high level, that itself could be considered a contradiction. He's right, how could someone as stupid as me think of a murder this complicated? Well, she could have been acting all this time, a wolf in sheep's clothing. You claim that you're not the culprit, where's your rebuttal? This is literally the same situation that we put my sis in. What is the difference between you going on about your innocence without any logic to back it up, and my sis bawling your eyes out? Illogical! Nonsense! You're asking to be executed! It seems like she's back in the corner. Is she really the culprit? Kanata and Chiyobai did most of the reasoning, and then I guess they're right. Have you come to a conclusion? You cannot take back your decision. Everyone vote for the culprit. Will the answer be the truth or not? Now vote. Objection! What? Interrupting the voting again? Something was bothering me all this time. I'm not trying to side with Ronpa, but I saw something back then. According to Kanata's theory, Ronpa should have dismembered the corpse between 1954. You already know who committed the murder because you have access to the monitor room, right? So we shouldn't take anything you say with a grain of salt. But I saw her goofing around painting pictures near the harbor around 11. Oh yeah, drawing pictures of the port at that time. I thought it would raise my spirit. If Ronpa was around the port that time, that means Kanata's theory is completely wrong. Mikado, I take back every bad thing I said about you. Thank you for helping me. I most certainly didn't do it for you. Now that it's come to this, we come back to square one once again. Wait, can we even believe this guy? How can we tell if that's true when it's Mikado of all people? Mikado's always messed with us, so this time he might be trying to stop us from trying to get the answer right. What? Excuse me? Why would I lie if getting the answer right could also cost me my life? Maybe, how should I know? Maybe you're behind all this and you did it to survive us own. After all, you're the one who gave us those motives videos. Shiji's right. What makes you think you have the right to speak? Don't speak such nonsense. Ronpa was definitely at the pool that time. If it wasn't for his testimony, but he doesn't gain anything by lying out of this. If it was anybody else, Chiyobai even, I would at least try to believe it, but Mikado... Am I that untrustworthy? Of course, you're the mastermind. Technically speaking, you're the reason we're doing this class trial in the first place. I'd rather place my trust on Dog's job than... Mikado is saying that he saw Ronpa. I should think of something as well. Think of any information... The logic craft. Oh, it's this. Okay. I thought it was like Minecraft. It's Flappy Bird. This minigame is fucking impossible, by the way. Ouch. Ouch. Is that... What the... I feel like the game, either the game or my brain is lagging. This is fucking impossible. Ouch. Fuck, dude! Ugh. Alright, we're doing a lot better this time. Never mind. How'd I get so fucking bodied like that? Who designed this fucking minigame? Dude! Ouch. Alright, there we go. Before the parade, when was the last time we met Aroha? I don't remember. During breakfast, right? Alright, now back to the hard part. No. Okay. We made it. What did we do with Aroha during breakfast? Drank her coffee. And then that's when we fell asleep. So it is Aroha. Alright, we've got to make it through within 2 tries. Ouch. Oh my god. Whoa, dude! Alright, 1 try left. You can do this. I cannot get hit a single time. Let's go. And we've got to get this question right or we lose. What happened after we drank Aroha's coffee? We turned Super Saiyan. True. What a stupid fucking game. What a stupid fucking mini game, dude. Wait, everyone. This just came to me, and it doesn't have anything to do with Mikado, but she may not be the culprit. Something very suspicious happened this morning. After going to breakfast and drinking your coffee, a sudden wave of your irresistible sleep. You suddenly felt sleepy, but it's not like you were awake all night, and you sat through the morning even when you drank coffee. That's exactly it. I saw Aroha wasn't drinking her coffee. I thought it was a waste, and naturally being a can of her coffee, I drank it instead. I was okay then, but after that, I felt incredibly sleepy, like it was drugged. Someone drugged the coffee. The coffee I drank was meant for Aroha, right? What would have happened if instead, if Aroha just drank the coffee? Well, Aroha would have slept until evening. That would mean that Aroha wouldn't have an alibi from morning till evening. Sorry for interrupting this, but was there anything like sleeping drug on this island? There's some of the pharmacy section of the mart. I always check the items there, but I didn't notice the different numbers. Do you open the packages and check inside? Well, I can't. It takes forever. For a cup of coffee, one pill should be enough. They probably didn't need to take the whole package. So let me get this straight. You drink a cup of coffee that was drugged with sleeping pills. There is someone who would benefit from all this. Someone who's trying to frame Aroha by preventing our alibis. If Aroha's the culprit, it doesn't make sense that she was trying to drink the coffee she thinks was drugged. Aroha's not the culprit. The culprit is the person trying to make you think the coffee. Wait, if Sora drank the coffee that was originally intended for Aroha, then Aroha being outside during the morning was something unexpected even for the culprit, right? That's right. So Mikado's account of seeing Aroha around 7 is entirely possible. How could you not believe me? I'm so disappointed in me. If Aroha's not the culprit, then it's something that just came to me. If we use this info and reverse the thought process, we can easily track down the culprit. The culprit is someone who's trying to frame Aroha by erasing her. Someone who's trying to frame her just now. We've gone back and forth and back and forth. The culprit was someone who's pressing on Aroha until now. Kanade, it's you! I'm grateful you proved being my... Kanade did act rude during breakfast. Normally she would have chased her sis away after Hibiki left. But didn't she hesitate a bit? Sis? I'm gonna go take a rest in my room. Wait, sis, where are you going? Hibiki's condition seems to be getting worse. She's... Well, we can't help it. It seems like everyone except Aroha... I love how... this is happening. You don't have to mind us. Alright then. She reluctantly followed one Setsuka. I was to assume that was to make sure, unbeknownst to Kanade, it was Sora who actually drank the coffee. If Kanade is really the culprit, considering her personality, she would have made sure that Aroha did in fact drink the sleeping pills. All matters is that something that should have happened somehow did, while something that doesn't happen didn't happen at all. Bullshit. Silva and now you? What is with you people trying to frame me as a culprit? I shared my theory, showed you the contradiction, and thought through my reasoning, proved Aroha the culprit. Just how much rebuttal would it take for you to be satisfied? But towards the point, if Aroha had fallen asleep with that drug, she would have been confirmed as the culprit without a doubt. Really, do we have to take the long way? First, the fact that the coffee was drugged was a stretch. It's not like I was the one that prepared the meal. How could I have drugged the coffee that Konado was prepared? The breakfast was prepared even before the morning announcement. Oh yes, I do. You know what they say, the early chef dominates the culinary world. I prepared the food way in advance before you even wake up. So if you arrive at the diner before everyone wakes up, you'd have ample time to judge Aroha's coffee, but you wouldn't really know where Aroha would actually sit. That probably isn't the case because I usually sit at the same place. Most of us usually sit at the same place every morning, don't we? True, unless the seat's owner died and someone sat there instead, that was usually it. After hearing what you all have to say, things start to make sense. The 3 hours of space between 1954 and 1254. This time was deliberately left blank by that girl to frame Bubblehead, so she could say it was the time Bubblehead spent on dismemberment. But just how unlucky can you get? The Bubblehead was actually seen by Mikado. By the irony of fate. Didn't Aroha mention that it was Kanade who assigned her to look around the park during the ghost house? Come to think of it, perhaps that was also something she did in advance to frame Aroha. Aroha wasn't invited to the chat room that was created from Setsuka's. They probably separately told Aroha to come to the Mirror Mansion so that Aroha could see Hibiki entering the ghost house, and later claimed that Aroha was lying, making everyone suspect her. So this was all part of her plan. Shiobai speaking up. Told you, the culprit is Kanade or Kanoji. Obviously that trick of that Bubblehead can come up with a trick of this level. Hold on, this trial's a bit tough. The culprit keeps changing. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. Sora consuming the sleeping pills and Mikado witnessing Aroha, and the one who orchestrated that is Kanade. Kanade. Okay, yep, alright, sure, okay, buddy. Yes, it seems like you used your damn stupid brains to reach a conclusion. Like you said, I don't have any logical rebuttal. All this is just a presumption, I have no evidence. But being generous and merciful, I'll go over your stupid delusions. Suppose I did drug Aroha's coffee, then why do we go back to the time? Try to do things under the proposition that I'm the culprit. How did I murder Setsuka? Are you possessed by a demon or something? You unhinged your jaw. I was with you all throughout the entire parade. Explain to me how the hell I managed to kill Setsuka despite their alibis and move the damn corpse. Shiobai, Sora, Yuki, anyone, come on, let's hear it. Kanade, you're scaring me. Relax, there's no way I'm the culprit. You're not the culprit either. We're both completely innocent, so there's nothing to worry about. I'll solve everything for you. I will. Was it because Kanade wasn't raging on us without any logic. It was completely different from the breakdowns. There was simply too many contradictions to point her as the culprit. If she really was the culprit, her defense against the truth was too hard for us to break. My, cat got your tongue? Everyone try to focus. Maybe we've all missed some sort of clue. I don't want to die as much as you guys, so let's start this over again. Now let's put our heads together on this. Kanade wasn't the one who drugged the coffee, then who was it? Honestly, it's possible that Sora lied about this. But if Sora lying, there goes my account's credibility again. As if you had any credibility to begin with. But it's not the only thing that makes her suspicious. You did not outright deny the fact about the sleeping pills. I thought you saw me as shit. Now you're running back to me because you're out of ideas? Well, the main problem is how the corpse was able... The trash bags. The concept of hiding the corpse in Block A is completely impossible. Still, they must have used a monorail. But who knows if that rule is actually fake? Rohan, may I kindly ask, but what the actual fuck? What the actual fuck, Hajime? Rohan, maybe it's best that you stay quiet. That's not a theory, that's just your delusions. There really is no logical way this could have happened. Teleported inside. Secret passageway. The ghost house was shaped like... I got it. There's a way that Kanade moved. You're actually helping us and actually figuring out things. Good job, Shiobai. Your problem is solved if you can move the corpse inside the ghost house without using the gate. And there's one passageway in the ghost house that matches this condition. But that means you're probably going to die next chapter, right? Because of the pattern of the one helping us dying. The chimney. They went up the chimney like Santa Claus. The chimney. Siobai, are you perhaps referring to the chimney? There's a fireplace at the ghost house. That means there's a fireplace that connects it to the outside. Bingo. And if you throw the corpse through the chimney, the corpse will get thrown down into the fireplace. If the fire was put out, it wouldn't stand out, and it wouldn't be near the altar as well. By throwing the corpse down the chimney during the parade, you didn't have to hide them beforehand. You could empty empty-handed at 1942, where after the white-haired girl leaves the ghost house. The corpse is already in the fireplace, so you just have to move it to the altar and flood the place with the blood pack. In any case, did you search the fireplace when you were investigating? No, I didn't think that Setsuko was dead, so I naturally investigated a place that a living human couldn't actually be. Not to mention it was especially dark near the fireplace. So no contradictions there. How's this, twins? A new challenge for you. Let's see you sing and dance around this one. I really want to get like a circly thing like that for my Dangan, but I can't do that. But I really want to get a circly thing like that. We actually have more than one corpse thing here. The bruises. Is that actually possible? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Nope, it's absolute nonsense. There weren't any clues left in the fireplace. The bag. We don't have to discuss the clues. How would you throw a corpse that placed that high? I guess the culprit rode a plane or something, yes? Honestly, my magic could have put it off, but I'm bound by those cursed rules. Would you stop distracting us with nonsense and shut up? How far are we into the trial, by the way? Like, are we nearly done? Wait a second, about that fireplace, there's a suspicious black plastic bag near it. I'm positive it wasn't there near the start. It would deduce that based on the stare by Z, it could be a bag that contained one of the body parts. The fireplace was always lit until the culprit turned it off. If the bag was there before, it wouldn't have long to be burnt away. So the bag... I have 1 hour left to stream, by the way. So the bag was put there after the fire was put out. There is other evidence that they did the corpse in the chimney. The ghost house is pretty higher than you think. If the corpse fell through a high at that height, there must be some traces left on the body. Traces on the body. It's gamer snacky time. As the culprit threw the corpse onto the place that high, the corpse would definitely have some traces on it, and that evidence is the oh my god, I've got it. The dolls were used to transport the body parts, aren't they? Weren't they? They open up. They zip open up. So they just put the body parts inside one of the dolls and had it parade over to the ghost house. That's how they got the body in there. Because she searched the warehouse, didn't she? Kanade searched the warehouse, didn't she? You're talking about the bruises on the corpse, right, Siobai? You bet. When the Setsuko's body was cut into pieces, each piece had some trace of bruises. It even said so in the moniker file. If the body fell straight through the roof like Siobai said, it would be natural that there would be a few broken bones here and there. Usually there would be no explanation for those bruises if it didn't fall through the chimney. And the murder weapon was something sharp, so it's highly unlikely that those bruises would have been otherwise. Considering the inclination of the building, it would be impossible. So how would someone manage that? there is one place, some place aforementioned, the monorail. The monorail goes right past the ghost house roof. It's the only possible way. I'm sorry, but this isn't a fantasy world, or would you like me to get you incarnated in another world? About that, I have some otherworldly shit right next to me. I'm not a fantasy creature. Treating me in such a way is cruel, uncensored back, and ignores everything I've done so far. All of their ways. Do they risk that kind of shot on a moving platform? Is that truly possible for a human being in a high school of all people? Let's trace our memories back. It doesn't matter because it's going to show us the answer. Fubuki whose name ends with N? T. Satsuki. Satsuki's remade. No, that's not it. What? Oh, we have a time limit. Oh. I can't guess willy-nilly. Hibiki. That's it, right? Remark. We're sucking this time. This trial's we're sucking. Oh yeah, there is proof. It wouldn't be possible for someone to throw the... Hibiki! Hibiki, listen to me. You told me on the first day of the third island at the casino that Kanata's accuracy is impeccable. She always hits her target. That one time she even scored a goal from the school's rooftop to the sports ground's basketball rim. I doubt that the casino... Yeah. Is that even possible? Throwing a corpse on the stern chimney from on the monorail would be a piece of cake. Well, it is true. Kanata is always... Shut up, Hibiki! You should have just kept quiet. What are you getting flustered for? Your reaction just gave credibility to what your sis said. Kanata looks a little flustered with that remark. At the time, I worried it was because, but thinking back now, she might have already thought of this plan way back then. That was a few days ago. She was already planning to murder someone back then, before even the motive. But then how did you know about the parade? The murder would be impossible for anyone other than Kanade. Stupid, sir. Well, sure, I'll let that pass. Even if I had used that method to move the course, the monorail was active, the only time possible to clear the course. But that time was when the parade was going on. Hibiki disguised as... No, the twins. Hibiki disguised as Little Mrs. doesn't deny the chimney theory. The reaction she showed wasn't something from a totally innocent person. I'm not the culprit, I just didn't feel the need to object to every little detail. I have an alibi after all. It seems we hit yet another roadblock. If you're gonna act like that, two can play that game. Everything will make sense if she was able to ride the monorail at that time, right? But was that really you? Stupid shit, you got fooled once last time. This is literally the same trick, dickheads. Y'all are stupid. Why do I put up with you? That's right, Bubblehead. Don't you all get it right now? Tell her I suspected as an accomplice to Kanade. It actually makes sense. They're identical twins. A little bit of disguise and no one would be able to tell them apart. Hibiki doesn't have an alibi today, so if she was disguised as Kanade, and the person without an alibi throughout today was actually Kanade. Nobody, I hope you're not just ignoring me this time. The case had already started this morning. Of course no one had seen them. They basically switched their alibis through disguise. The first time we saw Kanade with after breakfast was the parade, so the Kanade we met there was probably Hibiki. The real Kanade was riding the monorail moving the court. Wait a minute, you're smart, cunning, and careful, even more so than me. Beats me why such a talented girl's in a band for some reason, but you left your guard down. Sure, you put up a pretty high wall, but you left some holes here and there. Well, my turn is over. It's yours now. Any rebuttals? I haven't had such a battle like that in ages. It was honestly a bit fun. Honestly, though, it hurts my pride that I had to get some help from you, from the lack of you along the way. So you're admitting that? I thought you would try to take all the credit. I told you, I'm a calculative guy. We all die a happy death if I make a mistake while I stubbornly press on and on with my theory. It's much more efficient to give up your pride and put your brains together in these cases. To think you'd be on the same wavelength as us. I think this is the first time you've spoken this much. But it doesn't change the fact that you were all hopeless as shit until I took over the stage. So the one watching the parade was actually Sis, and while the monorail went past the ghost house, I threw the corpse in the chimney. Congratulations, you've got everything wrong. If you lack the brains to think, people like you are the reason the term trash journalism exists. Someone who finally knows how to put up a real fight, come at me. And I'm going to start with the throwing corpse part and go through everything from there. Setsuka's dismembered body consists of the head, the torso, each hand, the arms, legs, the feet, so 10 pieces altogether. How many times was the monorail? Yes, I did! You put them all in one bag and... in one go. The monorail is quite slow, but it's still faster than speeding bike. You can only fill one piece. According to Shobai's theory, it starts at block A. Every 15 minutes, they throw the next one. Only 4 round trips, and the monorail is inactive. What to do with the remaining 6 pieces? Remember, it's far too much. We have a much bigger problem at hand, really. Throwing the corpse inside the chimney is actually impossible for a different reason. Yeah, but what about the torso? Do you really think her torso would be able to fit that in that small chimney? You could break the joints to fit up any other pieces of part, but you can't do it with the body. Not to mention her chest area is particularly larger than any... So you're gonna play that card, eh? Like you just move the torso separately. The reason we're talking about this damn chimney theory is because passing through the gates is practically impossible. If you want to prove this theory, then you need to be able to move every part of the body through the chimney. As Shobai admitted, he can't win against Kanade alone. Let's think about this together. Oh, that. They moved it using the dolls. I was right. They moved it using the dolls. In other words, you need to move the torso a different way. Of course, such a way doesn't exist. You could have just taken the torso separately. Well, Kanade is visiting through the... Hibiki... No, impossible. I was watching the parade then. Even if that was in disguise, at least one of us needs to watch that parade. But by that logic, who was the person who watched the parade? And hid it somewhere in Block A? Impossible. You can only throw 4 pieces total. There's 6 pieces, excluding the torso, so there's too much red. They were out of any options. There are no other ways to move the torso. They can be reprogrammed from the inside, right? So Kanade could have opened them up, reprogrammed them to move somewhere else during the parade, and then